Yeah, y'all, we here, truck like us. I know it's been a minute since the last video, but I want to make a special announcement. I'm officially with the mob ties now, so yeah, officially with the mob ties. If you know, getting real money, and that's why I've been busy, because I just been taking care of some things I could have never took care of working at TMC. So now that bag is coming in, yeah, I've been real busy. So I just want to get into it from the last video. I've been seeing in the comment section a lot of guys saying, I was beside myself. I want to make our owner operator money. And I just got a question. I mean, like, $1,200 is owner operator money? Because I was saying I can't live off $1,200. I need $2,000 or more a week. I want to make owner operator money, and $2,000 is nowhere near owner operator money. And I just said, as a flatbed driver, you should at least be making $2,000 or more a week. So I'm like, are these guys trolling, or they're just that dumb, or they're just low standards? I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, are you guys just trolling? Because I'm like, how the hell can someone survive off $1,200 living in America at this day and time? I mean, like, even if you're living in the South, where they say the South is cheaper, like, how is that possible? Especially if you have a family. Like, you guys are just so brainwashed. And when I say you guys, it's like the company drivers. It's like some owner operators was making this assumption too. I don't know if because it was coming from me, but yeah, some of you seem like owner operators, and then some of you were just some old guys working at, old and young, just drinking the Kool-Aid at the company. Brainwashed company drivers. And, if my confidence offend you, God made me this way. Take it up with God. I can't help you. If $1,200 is good for you, then you just have low standards, because it's impossible to live off of $1,200 with inflation. So as I'm looking through these comments, I just see a bunch of people trolling, mainly because who it's coming from. And, it is what it is. When you're from my neighborhood, from my background, and you have confidence, or from a place like me, other people, get, I don't even know, offended, or just, want to criticize it because who it's coming from. But, it is what it is. And then, none of that's going to stop who I am or my confidence. So I'm going to keep leveling up, keep doing what I do, and move on to bigger and better things. I could care less if you have a problem with it. Like I said, God made me this way. And if you have a problem, take it up with God. All of you can eat shit and go to hell, because I'm going to make this money and keep leveling up and keep doing bigger and better things in life, because I'm striving to do better. So if it's a problem with you, that's on you. That says a lot about who you are. So as I'm looking through these comments, I see some people giving me some good feedback too, and even I didn't even have to defend myself. Some people were defending what I was saying, and people with common sense. And as I'm looking through, I just see a whole bunch of trolls. I clicked on one guy's page, and I'm like, he's saying, yeah, man, you want to make owner operator money? TMC fired you. You don't know much. You think you know it all, and a whole bunch of bull crap. So as I clicked on this page, I'm like, this dude weighs 300 pounds. I'm like, God damn, you need to be worried about your medical card, bro, instead of worried about how much money I'm trying to make. Shit, your neck look like a size 31 inch. You need to be worried about if you're going to live to see next week, bro. Don't worry about how much money I'm trying to make or where I'm trying to go in life. You're worried about the wrong things right now. And that's what I noticed too. A lot of truck drivers is miserable, man. Miserable. Like, all you old school guys who talk this old school shit, you're not putting a good name for the truckers. You're not representing the truckers good. A lot of you are miserable. A lot of you are just angry, quick to argue. You know, you on the road. One day I was on the road, I'm just driving and I just see a guy just like yelling like for nothing. And I'm in my lane just driving and I'm like, damn. And I noticed that a lot with these old school drivers, like miserable as hell. And they're just angry. You know, I don't know what you got going on at home. You know, your wife don't want you no more. Your kids don't love you. If you have a wife or children, but shit, you guys don't you complain about the new drivers, but you're not setting a good example either. You know, a lot of you are nasty, disgusting. Your truck look like shit. The inside of the truck look like shit. And with the new drivers too, some of you new drivers are nasty too. The inside of the truck looks horrible. You're like damn hoarders. But that's another topic. But yeah, man, I mean, with mob ties now, we just get into the bag. And you know, I'm enjoying trucking. You know, I'm really trucking right now, you know. I'm glad I didn't get caught up into the mega company brainwash system like a lot of you drivers are. A lot of you drivers are just brainwashed into this mega company shit. And it's really crazy. So let me tell you about where I'm at now. You know, it's a mob tie company. If you know, you know. And they got dry vans, reefers, flatbeds, step decks, Conestogas, RGNs, box trucks. So this company is real versatile, and you know, you can pick any trailer you want, as long as you have the skill set for that particular trailer. So I picked the step deck because the step deck is money. Flatbed is money too. The flatbed and the step deck over here makes about the same money. Anyone who has a flatbed over here can make the same as the step deck. Maybe the step deck can make more sometimes with the oversize, but for average, they pretty much make the same amount of money, you know. And we're getting some crazy loads, like 5,000, 7,000, 8,000, 10,000, like for long haul. And yeah, you're not going to see those loads at TMC, Jordan, Melton, Maverick. None of those flatbed companies, you're going to see loads like that. Like, you know, you already know the company is shortchanging you. But you guys love it. You guys drinking the Kool-Aid. And a lot of you won't even leave. I speak to some of you drivers, company drivers. A lot of you just brainwashed in. But I guess you make the world go round, and it is what it is, you know. I mean, you know, they're going to have drivers, and that's life. You're going to have people who are stuck in bullshit and enjoy it, you know, or don't know any better, or don't want to know any better. So it's for people who do know better, we look at it like it's sad, but you know, if they're comfortable with it, you know, who gives a shit? But this company is cool. I mean, the dispatchers are like real dispatchers, not like TMC where they call their dispatchers fleet managers. Because at TMC, your dispatcher title is a fleet manager. They don't even use the word dispatcher at TMC, and these guys don't do shit. They're not even searching on a load board or in a spot market for your loads. All these loads are contracted out, and someone else gives them a whole bunch of loads to give their driver. They're just picking, all right, who's near what, and that's it. They're just like, I don't even know what to call them, but they're not like real dispatchers, and they got the nerve to call them fleet managers. Over here, these are real dispatchers, and they get money too. Like, if you were to come to the terminal, like, I mean, the dispatchers is driving Volvo, Audi, I mean, shit. You know, all these European cars, like, they getting it. Like, these is like some dispatchers like I've never seen before. It's nothing but like some crazy fly cars out here, you know? And, man, it's like, it's real motivating. And like, no one is pressuring me to do anything I don't want to do. I'm basically like a fake owner operator working as, you know, an independent contractor, because it's 1099. And like I told you before, I have my company, I have my LLC company, I have my logistics company, and I work under my company name. And yeah, and I like it better like that, because you get to learn how to, you know, do deductions throughout the year. Everything that I buy now, you know, I can write it off while I'm at work. You know, when it comes to like my food, I do per diem for taxes. So I get $70 a day for food that I can write off, clothes, supplies, and yeah, it teaches you a lot. Now, I know some guys say, oh yeah, my company gives benefits, and anything a mega company can get you, you can get yourself. But a lot of people are just like ignorant to that fact. So I have medical insurance that I purchased on my own, and they, you know, auto pay out of my account. I have my life insurance and dental insurance, and all that stuff I can get on my own. If you want annuity, you can get that on your own. All these stuff the company offers, you can get on your own. Maybe the company might get a little deal with that, with the medical company, and you know, you might pay $10 or $20 less. But the money that I'm making now, you know, I can afford more than afford my medical insurance, life insurance, dental insurance. So everything, a company can miss me with the yeah, I get benefits, medical, I get all that shit too. So, you know, you gotta be wise and knowledgeable and do the research. Everything those mega companies offer, I have. So and it teaches you a lot, you know, how to manage everything and taxes, and you know, it's just a different feeling, you know, doing 1099 and collecting all your money. And then you know, once you do it the right way, you're not paying a whole bunch of money at the end of the year for tax time. So it's something that you really have to research and keep track, and make sure you have your separate business account for your company, so nothing gets mixed up, you know. And then make sure you find a good CPA, and yeah, just do things the right way. And I enjoy it, you know. I mean, sad to say, these American companies are not really, you're not going to make any money with them. I mean, maybe there's some people who are, but for the most part, they're not going to pay you good. And for those, I'm talking to the guys who want to make money, not for the guys who are sucked into the mega company shit and are good with $1,100, $1,200. I'm talking for the guys who want to make real money. Like, if you work with a mega company and you just starting out, just get your experience. Learn how to secure freight. You know, learn working load limits with your straps, your chains, and your binders. Understand that. You know, the laws, with DOT laws that come with working load limit. Learn weight distribution, especially when it comes to coils. You have to learn how far back, how many feet. I'm not going to even tell you. I'm going to see if y'all know. Y'all could put it in the comment section. How far back has the coil have to be from the beginning of the trailer? You know, a lot of guys don't know that. You know, starting out. You know, how many chains you need and straps you need for a particular load, and just you know, how to not bang your state pockets on the rub rail, because a lot of guys don't even know how to wrap teardrop their chain around. You know, it's the state pocket. There's a certain way, you know, different from when you do the teardrop around the spool. So just little tricks. And while I'm on the road too, I'm learning stuff. I see guys at shippers and receivers, and I learned, like, you know, different ways to secure things. And you know, and they're not even old school guys. Some of these guys are just like been in the game for 4 or 5 years, and they just got some good knowledge. Because some old school guys, just because a guy is 60 something years old or 50 something years old, doesn't mean he knows. He has the experience. I see guys that are like my age, or 30, in their 30s. I mean, some dudes in even in late 20s, 40s, put me on to game when it comes to securing freight, learning stuff. So, and I always ask questions. I talk to strangers. I remember when I used to work at TMC, and my trainer was training me. He was saying, "Hey man, don't talk to people." And I'm like, "What the fuck is you talking about? This is how I make connections. This is how I network. This is why I'm at the job that I'm at now, talking to strangers. like asking like legitimate questions, you know, making new friends. If you don't got no friends in the business, how the hell you gonna get put on? You gonna just be a angry driver, just chatting bullshit, you know, and just being stuck with the guys that only work at your company? No, I know guys that all over, work with many companies. And I stayed networking, owner operators too. Guys that drive that whole hot shot, reefer, RGN, you know, Conestoga. So, yeah, you got to network and have connections. That's the only way you're going to succeed. You got to know a lot of people. Who do you know? You need more people. You ever heard that song by Jay-Z? We don't believe you. You need more people. So you got to know people. The more people you know, the more connections you have, the more help you can get, the more information you can get, the more stronger you can be, and you'll get put on. So, yeah, man. And that's how I got put on to here. And it's just been a good experience. And I'm still learning. One thing I also notice in trucking is, like, when someone else is succeeding or has success, you know, a lot of hate comes in. Instead of trying to network with that person or getting to know that person, you know, like, you talk shit, especially a lot of the older truck drivers. All you do is like, how could you expect the younger generation to look up to you or respect you when all you do is just talk dumb? You're more immature than a 20-year-old. Some of the shit that you say, and it's like you're nothing but an old hating ass fart. Just read the comments in the last video, and then click on their picture. You'll see that they're older people. And I'm like, man, I mean, like, and then the response is so dumb. I feel stupid responding to you because you're just chatting bullshit. Like, oh, do hazmat. Oh, no one wants to hire you anyway. You're a know-it-all. I mean, like, I'm someone who has high self-esteem, high confidence in myself. So don't get it mixed with someone trying to know it all, because I love learning. I'm like a sponge. Everywhere I go, I network with people. If I was a know-it-all, I wouldn't want to network with anyone. I network with people, get information, you know, get contacts and connects. So just like real negative, but I don't pay no mind to it, because, you know, shit, add on to the algorithm. Shit, you know what I'm saying? Comment. I don't delete no comments. So whatever you want to write, you can write in that damn shit. I don't give a damn. But yeah, it's like them older truck drivers, some of them are cool, but for the most part, you dudes get no respect. You're just an old piece of shit driving a truck. And I mean, if you make $1,200 and you've been driving trucks for 20, 30 years, and first of all, you shouldn't even be driving trucks for 30 years. You driving trucks for 30 years and you still driving? You ain't like migrate into anything else, just like dispatching or just like having drivers drive for you? That's a red flag. You've been driving trucks for 30 years? That's not good. So what were you doing with your money? And what can you tell me? What advice can you give to me? Yes, you got experience, but what kind of experience? Because if you've been driving trucks for 30 years, you should at least have enough money saved up to have someone drive for you, retire. I mean, like, what kind of, you must have been, how much money were you making? So anybody, like any of my truck drivers out there, you chopping it up with someone and they said they've been driving for 20, 30 years? Shit, that shit is a red flag if he's not a boss. For real. Because if you're making the money that I'm making right now and the money that the other TMC drivers that I brought over here is making, you can be a boss real quick. I'm not even rushing it right now. Right now, if I want to buy a truck, I can buy a truck. I'm not even rushing it right now. I'm just taking care of some other businesses. And when it's time for that to happen, then yeah, I'll get a truck. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, like Lone Mountain is like the number one spot. And then a couple of guys I've been talking to are saying that TMC sells trucks for a good price too. The only thing with TMC, their trucks have high mileage. So they're selling their trucks at 600,000 miles, 700,000 miles. Really, the rule of thumb is you don't want any used truck over 500,000 miles. So, I could buy a truck for like 500,000 miles, probably work the shit out of it for 1 year, and then use that to buy another truck. Or I just could go to Lone Mountain and lease a truck, lease to own the truck. And Lone Mountain has crazy good deals. And it depends on your credit too, because if you have bad credit, maybe the best move for you is to get the truck at TMC. I'm hearing some of the trucks are going for like 30,000. So you could probably get a truck at TMC, work the shit out of it for a year, step up your game with your credit, and now when your credit is right for Lone Mountain, then you just switch to Lone Mountain, get the truck at Lone Mountain. Because I know those trucks are good. TMC does take care of their trucks, and they got Cummins engine. But to me, it's like somewhat of a risk getting a truck at 600 or 700,000 miles. Pretty much a risk unless you got like a good diesel mechanic on your side. But just do your research and figure out what's best for you. But yeah, man. And to everybody who's trying to make money in trucking, like I said before, just get your experience at these mega companies. They're not going to pay you good. Be careful who you talk to, because a lot of these company drivers at the mega companies are just so brainwashed. They don't believe nothing is better out there. You talk to some of them, they don't believe nothing is better. Like their little $1,200, some of them might make $15 on a good week, and it's not consistent. Even $1,500. Like you can, what is that? Like, you cool with that? Like, don't set yourself that damn low. You got people out here who are not even legal in the country making more money than $1,500 a week. And what? You could be a citizen and that's what you're making and you're comfortable with that? They're treating the immigrants better than they treating some of the American citizens. It's like, for real? So, yeah. You starting out, I would just say, get your experience. Use these mega companies. Get your experience at the mega company. And I'm talking to people that are in flatbed. If now dry van, reefer, yes, you do the same thing too. Just get your experience, because this company wants 6 months or more driving time, OTR, and get your experience. But to the flatbed drivers, you got a little bit more work to do, because you need, like I said before, working load limit with your chains, binders, and straps. You got to understand that. Then weight distribution with loads you get. Loads like coils or anything else, machinery, a tractor, where to place it on the trailer. Because yes, you could be under 80,000 pounds, but you can also be overweight on one of your axles, depending on where you place the item on the trailer. So you have to learn that, because you don't want to come out here and get screwed over. So after you learn that, you might not even learn that with some of these mega companies. You should, but you want to learn that and then move on to bigger and better. So when you come to the mob ties, they're just going to give you the truck and then you just make money. Now, if you want to train here too, you can train. They'll pay you more than what these mega companies pay you. But me, I don't like nobody in my truck, so I don't do no training. They asked me that already. I couldn't train someone, but no. Yeah, some stuff, if I do help someone with, I'll just tell them over the phone. Put me on FaceTime and I'll show you. Yeah, I don't have to be in the truck with you. Once you know how to drive the truck, then, that's the main thing. But if you have a question, some people call me and I just tell them over the phone what to do, or how to secure it, or how far to put it back. And be careful. The other day too, I had a problem with these shippers. Man, these shippers, I hate going to shippers where you get loaded and they tell you you must remain in the truck until after they load you, because some of these forklift drivers don't know what the hell they're doing. So they'll load your truck in a way where you're overweight on your axles, or the load is more pushed to the driver's side, and then the passenger side of the trailer has much space. They're not centering the freight. So that's an issue too. There's some issues that we have out here. Anywhere you work, any company, these that's the issue I've been having lately. Some of these shippers, like the forklift drivers. So for the most part, I always tell them where to start loading the trailer. I even mark my trailer like with a paint marker. Like I'll mark a line and say, hey, start right here. This is where I want you to start, and then load it from here on back. So because you don't want to be overweight on your drives. That's a common thing too with some of these shippers. The way they load you can be overweight on your drives because they just putting all the heavy shit in the front, the light shit in the back. They'll just load shit weird. Like you really gotta. Sometimes if they're not experienced, you really gotta put that work in and make sure everything is right. But yeah, man, I'm here with the mob ties. We get into the bag. Anybody who's serious about looking for a job or, wants to make more money, hit me up in the comments section, email me. I got some connections out for some people who are serious. Yeah, man, to all the haters in the comments section, just keep on hating. You're making yourself look dumb. And probably getting more money than you are right now. And last thing I want to add too is a good piece of information from how I'm seeing the industry right now. Is like, if you really want to make money in trucking, there's like limited ways. So owner operator makes money if they know what they're doing. Some owner operators don't make money because they just stuck to what they know, and they're not trying to elevate their knowledge or information, or just not they're not internet savvy with technology, AI or stuff like that. So owner operator, for all my new drivers or drivers just coming in, or drivers that are with a company right now, owner operator does make money. I don't recommend the lease driver division, because it's like you'll be in a sunken place. It's like you have to work forever. I'm not going to work in a truck and pay $1,400 a week plus maintenance, plus fuel, plus tires. So I don't recommend the lease driver division. So, but owner operator makes money. Now, another way to get money in trucking is join the mob ties. If you know, hit me up in the DM, hit me up in my email. Join the mob ties. These guys are paying good money. The biggest misconception is, now not all of them are good, but you have to do your research and find the good one. And the biggest misconception is you have to run 4,000 miles. That's a lie. Some weeks I run 2,800. Some weeks I run 31, 32. So, and I'm making 10 times more than what the company drivers at TMC, Melton, Jordan, Maverick are making. They can't even compare to me. So, join the mob ties. Or lastly, a lease owner operator at Landstar. So I know a few people that work at Landstar. So they own their truck. They're leased onto Landstar. The only thing they might be renting from Landstar is the trailer. Some have their own trailer, but they're leased onto Landstar with their own truck. Those guys make money. I know guys that work at Landstar. Those guys make money. So if you want to get your own truck and work and you lease onto a company, to me, Landstar is the best. And I know that they make money. You get to book your own loads. So that's a good option too. So either you become owner operator, you get your own truck, own MC, own DOT, run for yourself, or you buy a truck and you lease on to Landstar. Those guys make crazy money too. Or third, you work for the mob ties. So to me, in my opinion, that's the only way you're going to make money in trucking. You work for these mega companies, Schneider, JB Hunt, Prime, Maverick, Jordan, Melton. You ain't making shit. And if guys in the comments that work there, I don't give a shit. Write what you want in the comments. None of y'all checks is comparing to my checks, or anybody that works for the Mob Ties. None of y'all can compare to Mob Ties or Landstar or Owner Operator. Of course that, but none of y'all. So and I'm only saying this because I'm willing to put people on. Not all of you, because I know some of you are a piece of shit, but some of you who are real and official, I'm willing to put people on, and I have put people on. I got 2 guys that from TMC right now, and they're making crazy money. So you're gonna hear from them themselves too. So in the coming weeks, yeah, you're gonna hear from some of these TMC dudes that I done put on that's making crazy money. So that's what it is, man. You know, send me an email, comment section, hit me up. And yeah, keep on trucking.